The recruitment line stretched around 3 corners of the processing hall. Owen Hayes counted 47 different species in the queue ahead of him. Some had scales, others had feathers, a few looked like walking crystals. All of them looked miserable. 16 hours they had been waiting. 16 hours of shuffling forward one body length at a time, while officials checked documents and scanned biology charts. The Flynn woman, 2 spots ahead, kept dropping her papers. Her tentacles were shaking from exhaustion. Owen stepped out of line and picked up her scattered forms. She looked at him with 6 eyes full of suspicion. "Let me help carry these for you," Owen said, smiling. "You look tired." The Flynn woman blinked, all 6 eyes in sequence. "Why would you do that?" "Because you need help." Owen gathered the papers and stood beside her in line. "I'm Owen, by the way." She studied him for a long moment. Humans were rare out here. Most species knew Earth only as a name on quarantine lists. "I'm Tessic." "Thank you, human." The line moved forward. Around them, other recruits complained about the wait, about the uncomfortable chairs, about everything. Owen just smiled and helped Tessic whenever her tentacles trembled too much to hold her documents steady. When they finally reached the medical examination rooms, a Tanith doctor with 4 arms waved Owen toward a scanner bed. The machine hummed to life as Owen lay down, still smiling at the ceiling. "Remove your shirt, please," the doctor said without looking up from his datapad. Owen complied. The scanner passed over his chest, beeping steadily. Then it shrieked. The doctor's 4 arms jerked. "What in the void? Is something wrong?" Owen asked, propping himself up on his elbows. "Your adrenaline baseline is reading at." The doctor squinted at the screen. "That cannot be right. The machine says your resting adrenaline level would kill most species from heart failure." "Oh." Owen smiled wider. "Yeah, humans run a bit hot. It's normal for us." The doctor made 3 different gestures that might have been prayers or curses. He recalibrated the machine twice. The numbers did not change. Finally, he marked something on his datapad and waved Owen away. "Equipment malfunction. Proceed to uniform distribution." Owen thanked him and moved on. The uniform fitting went smoothly. The inoculation sequence did not. 7 different vaccines pumped into his arm one after another. The Grundon recruit in the next chair passed out on the 4th injection. Owen sat through all 7 without flinching, chatting with the medical assistant about the weather on the orbital platform. "Does that not hurt?" the assistant asked, mandibles clicking nervously. "A bit," Owen admitted, still smiling. "But pain is just information, right? It tells you something is happening. No need to panic about it." The assistant made a note on her pad and backed away slowly to BY hour 20 of processing. Owen had been assigned to Unit 7 under Commander Brell. The commander was a Tanith veteran with scars crossing 2 of his forearms. He looked at Owen's file and frowned. Homeworld listed as Earth. Quarantine classification pending. Brell's voice rumbled like grinding stones. "I have never worked with a human before. I'll do my best to be helpful, sir." Owen stood at attention, spine straight, smile never wavering. Brell studied him. "Why did you volunteer for frontier defensive positions? Those assignments have a 70% casualty rate." "Someone has to do it, sir." "Might as well be someone who doesn't mind the danger." "You do not mind potentially dying?" Owen tilted his head slightly. "Everyone dies eventually, Commander. At least this way I died doing something useful." Brell made a sound that might have been a laugh or a warning growl. "Report to Transport Base 6 in 3 hours." Dismissed. The transport to Redstone 9 took 4 days. Owen spent the time helping other recruits adjust to zero gravity, teaching them card games, and volunteering for every maintenance task the crew needed. By day 2, the avian recruit named Pix started avoiding him. "Why you smile all the time?" Pix asked on day 3, feathers ruffled. "It is unsettling." Owen looked genuinely confused. "I smile because I'm happy." "Is that strange? You smile when carrying heavy equipment. You smile during emergency drills. You smile during the decompression scare yesterday." Pix's beak clicked rapidly. "Normal beings show stress." "I'm showing how I feel," Owen said gently. "I'm content. This is what I wanted to do." Moss, the Grundon recruit, lumbered over. His rock-like body moved slowly but deliberately. Leave him alone, Pix. Different species have different expressions. Judging someone by their face is prejudice. Pix huffed and flew to another part of the transport. Moss settled beside Owen with a sound like boulders grinding. Thank you for helping me during inoculations. I did not handle needles well. No problem. Owen's smile softened into something warmer. We're all in this together, right? When they finally docked at Redstone 9, Commander Brell gathered Unit 7 for briefing. The asteroid mining colony looked functional from the outside, but the personnel inside moved like frightened animals. 3 colonies in this sector have gone silent in the past month, Brell explained, his 4 arms gesturing at a tactical display. No distress calls. No Vodius. Just empty facilities and signs of struggle. Redstone 9 is the only colony still operational, and the miners report strange noises in the deep tunnels. Owen raised his hand. What kind of noises, sir? Scraping, clicking, movement in areas that should be empty. Brell's eyes fixed on each member of Unit 7 in turn. We patrol in pairs. No exceptions. First shift begins in 2 hours. Hayes, you're with me. The barracks were cramped but clean. Owen unpacked his gear efficiently while Pix watched from across the room. You volunteered for the most dangerous assignment, Pix said quietly. Why? Owen looked up, smile still in place. Because if something bad is going to happen, I'd rather be there to help than safe somewhere else. That makes no sense, doesn't it? Owen folded his spare uniform with precise movements. You joined up too. You could have stayed home where it's safe. Pix's feathers smoothed slightly. I joined because my colony needed the income. And I joined because I needed a purpose. Owen finished unpacking and sat on his bunk. We all have our reasons. That night, Owen volunteered for perimeter watch despite regulations requiring pairs. Brell denied the request, but Owen walked the perimeter anyway after his scheduled sleep period. The security footage would later show him standing at the colony's edge for 4 hours, perfectly still, not blinking once. When a small scavenger creature approached the fence, Owen's head snapped toward it with speed that should not have been possible. The creature's survival instincts overrode its hunger. It fled into the darkness. Owen turned back to face the camera and smiled. Inside the security office, the night watch officer replayed the footage 3 times before deleting it and pretending he had seen nothing at all. Deep Tunnel 7 smelled like rust and old fear. Owen walked point with Commander Brell, their helmet lights cutting through darkness thick enough to feel solid. Behind them, Pix's wings rustled nervously while Moss's heavy footsteps echoed off metal walls. Contact with base is getting weak, reported Flip, a thin reptilian soldier, checking his comm unit. Signal degradation at 60%. Expected at this depth, Brell said. His 4 arms held his rifle ready while manipulating a scanner with his lower hands. The miners reported sounds originating from this sector. We investigate for 30 minutes, then return to report. Owen nodded, his smile visible even through his helmet's face shield. The tunnel ahead split into 3 directions. Scratch marks covered the walls at the junction, deep gouges in reinforced metal. Brell ran a scanner over the marks. His face went still. These are fresh, less than 12 hours old. What made them? Pix asked, hovering closer to Moss. Unknown. The database has no match for this claw pattern. Brell took images with his helmet cam. The spacing suggests something large. Very large. Owen knelt beside the deepest gouge. His gloved fingers traced the edge carefully. The metal had been peeled back like soft clay. Whatever did this had strength beyond any mining equipment. Sir, Owen said quietly, these marks angle downward. Whatever made them was climbing up from deeper tunnels. Impossible, Flippy said. The deep tunnels were sealed decades ago. Nothing lives down there. Owen stood and looked at the darkest tunnel mouth. His smile never changed, but his pupils expanded until his eyes looked black. For 3 seconds, he stared into the darkness without blinking. Brell noticed. Hayes, are you well? Owen blinked and turned. His pupils returned to normal. Yes, sir. Just thinking. They chose the middle tunnel. The scratch marks led that direction, growing more frequent as they descended. Pix counted them aloud nervously. 43 on the left wall, 51 on the right, 68 on the ceiling. Why are there so many? Territory marking, Owen said. It's telling other creatures this area belongs to it. How do you know that? Moss asked. Owen paused. Just a guess based on animal behavior. They walked for 20 minutes in tense silence. The tunnel opened into a wider chamber where old mining equipment sat abandoned. Claw marks covered everything. In the center of the chamber, they found the first body, most of a Tanith miner. Pix made a choking sound and flew behind Moss. Flip turned away. Brell examined the remains with professional detachment while Owen crouched beside them. Teeth marks, Owen observed. Large canines. The bite force needed for this is enormous. You seem very calm about this, Hayes. Someone needs to be, sir. Owen's smile had not changed. Panic won't help us understand what we're facing. Brell wanted to argue, but could not find fault in the logic. He documented the scene while Owen searched the chamber's perimeter. More bodies were scattered in the shadows. 12 miners total, all killed in similar fashion. They didn't run, Owen called out. Look at the positions. They were ambushed. Whatever hit them was fast enough they couldn't react. A sound echoed from the tunnel behind them. Scraping, clicking, movement. Positions, Brell ordered. The unit formed a defensive circle facing outward. The sounds grew closer. 3 shapes emerged from the darkness, moving with terrifying coordination. They stood twice the height of Brell, armored in natural plating that gleamed like oil-slick metal. 6 legs each, 2 sets of arms ending in claws the size of shovels. Faces that were all teeth and hunger. Shrikes, Flip whispered, reading his scanner frantically. Ancient predators. The database says they hibernate for centuries. They should not be awake. The center shrike tilted its head, studying the unit with too much intelligence for a simple predator. It clicked once. The other 2 spread to flank. Retreat, Brell ordered. Slow and steady. Do not run. They backed toward the exit tunnel. The shrikes followed, matching their pace. Testing. Learning. Reed, a soldier Owen barely knew, stumbled. Just a small trip over debris. But it was enough. The right shrike lunged faster than anything that size should move. Reed screamed once before being dragged into darkness. His comm channel filled with static and wet sounds that cut off abruptly. Full retreat. Brell opened fire. Energy bolts splashed off armored hide without effect. The unit ran. Pix flew ahead. Moss lumbered as fast as his body allowed. Flip sprinted with reptilian speed. Owen moved last, walking backward while maintaining eye contact with the pursuing shrikes. Hayes, move faster, Brell shouted. They're pursuit predators, sir. Owen called back, still walking backward, still smiling. If we all run, they'll chase. If one of us doesn't act like prey, it confuses them. The shrike slowed. The lead one stopped completely, head tilted in what might have been confusion. Its eyes locked with Owen's. Neither blinked. Owen took another step backward, then another. His smile widened slightly, showing more teeth than necessary. The shrike made a sound like grinding metal and retreated into the darkness. The other 2 followed. The unit reached the surface tunnel junction and kept running until they hit the main colony. Medical teams swarmed them. Brell filed an emergency report. Reed was officially listed as deceased. That night, Owen brought water to everyone in Medical Bay. He asked how they felt. He expressed sympathy for Reed. He smiled the entire time. Pix watched him for a medical bed, her tablet still recording. Later, reviewing her helmet footage, she would find one frame where a metal panel had reflected Owen's face during the retreat. In that reflection, his smile showed too many teeth. His eyes caught the light wrong, glowing like an animal's. She deleted the image and told no one that Owen requested permission to scout alone that night. Brell refused. Security logs showed Owen in his bunk all night. Security logs were wrong. The perimeter guard found Owen standing outside at dawn, staring at the deep tunnel entrance. He was not wearing cold weather gear despite temperatures that should have frozen him solid. "How long have you been out here?" the guard asked. Owen turned, smiled, and said, "Just a few minutes." Couldn't sleep. Bad dreams about Reed. The guard's own footage would show Owen had been standing there for 6 hours without moving. Coalition Command sent 3 more units within 24 hours. Heavy weapons, armored soldiers, tactical experts. They filled the colony command center with equipment and nervous energy. Owen sat in the back during the main briefing, listening while a dozen officers argued about assault strategies. "We bomb the tunnels," suggested a KRYL commander with mandibles that clacked aggressively. "Collapse everything below level 5. Bury the creatures. And bury 17 billion credits worth of mining infrastructure," countered a corporate representative. "Unacceptable." Brell stood and activated the tactical display. "The Shrikes are coordinating. They learned from each encounter. Standard assault tactics will result in heavy casualties." "Then what do you suggest?" The KRYL commander sounded irritated. Owen raised his hand. Every eye in the room turned toward him. Most of the officers did not know who he was. Just another private in standard uniform. "Permission to speak, sir?" Owen asked Brell. Brell hesitated, then nodded. Owen stood and approached the display. "The Shrikes are testing us. They attacked once, learned our response patterns, then retreated to analyze. If we send in assault teams on predictable schedules, they'll be ready. We need unpredictable movement, random patrol times, different route combinations. Make it impossible for them to establish our patterns." The KRYL commander laughed. "A human private thinks he knows pursuit predator behavior better than tactical computers?" "Yes, sir." Owen's smile never wavered. "Edo." Silence fell across the command center. Owen pulled up biological data on the Shrikes that Flip had collected. "Look at the eye placement. Binocular vision for depth perception. That means they're evolved for hunting, not grazing. The leg configuration suggests ambush tactics rather than endurance pursuit. They're patient hunters who study prey before attacking." He zoomed in on the claw marks. "These territorial markers aren't random. They form a perimeter around a central nesting area. The Shrikes are protecting something, probably eggs or young. They won't leave that area unless we force them to." A senior officer with crystalline skin leaned forward. "How do you know all this, Private?" Owen turned to face her, smile brightening. "I read a lot about predator behavior, ma'am. It's interesting." Brell was accessing something on his personal datapad. His expression darkened. "Hayes, step outside for a moment." Owen left the command center and waited in the corridor. Through the door, he could hear raised voices. 15 minutes later, Brell emerged alone. "Walk with me, Private." They moved through the colony to an empty observation deck overlooking the asteroid surface. Brell stood with his back to Owen, all 4 arms crossed. "I accessed Earth's quarantine files," Brell said quietly. "Most of it is classified, but what I could read was disturbing." Owen said nothing. "Earth is classified as Deathworld Category 4, the highest danger rating in Coalition records. Your planet has environmental conditions that would kill most species within hours. Predators that hunt in coordinated packs. Diseases that evolve faster than medicine can counter them. And somehow, humans evolved not just to survive there, but to become the dominant species." "Yes, sir." Brell turned around. "The files say humans are persistence hunters. That your species evolved to chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. That you can run for days without stopping. That you heal from injuries that would be fatal to others. That your baseline stress responses are so high they would cause system failure in most biology types." Owen's smile remained, but something in his eyes changed. "That's all true, sir. What are you not telling us, Hayes?" For the first time since joining, Owen's smile faded. Just for 5 seconds. His face became neutral, unreadable. When he spoke, his voice was different. Quieter, more careful. "Sir, I'm trying very hard to be what you need me to be. A good soldier, a helpful teammate, someone you can trust." He paused. "But I'm also trying very hard not to be what I was designed to be." "And what is that?" Owen's smile returned, but looked like effort now, like a mask he was holding in place. "A hunter, sir. Earth made humans into the best hunters in the galaxy. We can track prey across continents. We can outlast anything in a chase. We can eat almost anything, survive almost anywhere, and we never, ever give up once we've chosen a target. Brell's forearms uncrossed slowly. Are you dangerous, Hayes? Every soldier is dangerous, sir. That's the job. Owen looked out at the stars. But yes, humans are dangerous in ways that most species aren't. We just choose not to be most of the time. Can I trust you? Owen met his eyes directly. Yes, sir. You can. I volunteered for this because I wanted to protect people. That's what I'm here to do. Burrell studied him for a long moment. The psychological evaluation in your file says you have never experienced fear response. Is that true? Yes, sir. How is that possible? Owen shrugged slightly. Fear is just threat assessment combined with adrenaline response. I can assess threats fine. My biology just doesn't trigger the panic part. It's useful in combat, but makes it hard to understand when other people are scared. An alert sounded across the colony. Medical emergency. Burrell and Owen ran to the command center point. 2 more units had been ambushed during tunnel patrol. 5 dead, 3 wounded. The shrikes had learned to bypass motion sensors. We need to extract the wounded now, Burrell said. They're pinned in a collapsed chamber at level 7. Shrikes surrounding their position. Standard extraction will take 90 minutes, a tactical officer reported. The wounded may not survive that long. Owen stepped forward. Sir, let me go with a small team. We can reach them in 30 minutes. Negative. Too dangerous. The wounded will die if we wait. Burrell wanted to refuse. Every tactical consideration said no. But he looked at Owen's face, at the certainty there, and made a decision that defied logic. You have 20 minutes. Take Moss and Flip. Light gear only. Go. Owen saluted, smile widening genuinely. Thank you, sir. We'll bring them back. As they geared up, Pix approached Owen quietly. You're going to do something, aren't you? Something we haven't seen yet. Owen checked his equipment without looking at her. I'm going to save our people. That's not what I asked. Owen finally met her eyes. Sometimes being helpful means doing things that might scare people. I hope you'll understand. He left before she could respond. Level 7 tunnels felt different. The air tasted wrong, thick with something Owen's nose identified as territorial marking pheromones. Moss noticed him sniffing and looking confused. You smell something? Moss asked, his rocky voice rumbling. Predator scent markers, Owen said simply. They're claiming this territory. Flip checked his scanner nervously. How can you smell that? My instruments barely register chemical traces. Owen did not answer. He moved forward with smooth, economical steps that made no sound despite the metal grating beneath his boots. Moss and Flip followed, trying to match his quiet movement and failing. They found the Pins squad 15 minutes in. 5 soldiers huddled behind improvised barricades in a chamber where a ceiling collapse had blocked the main exit. Around them, visible in the shadows, 5 shrikes circled like sharks studying prey. Owen assessed the situation through a gap in the tunnel wall. The wounded were losing blood. 2 had already passed out. The conscious soldiers were firing energy weapons that splashed uselessly off shrike armor. We need heavy ordnance, Flip whispered. Those creatures will not be scared off by small arms fire. No, Owen said. We need something else. He activated his comm to command. Commander Burrell, this is Hayes. I can clear the shrikes and extract the wounded, but I need permission to engage directly. Define directly. Burrell's voice came back tense. I need to approach them without weapons. Talk them down or scare them off. Silence on the comm for 10 seconds. Then Burrell's voice, heavy with doubt. You have 5 minutes, Hayes. If it doesn't work, we're sending in the heavy assault team. Owen removed his helmet despite Moss's protest. The air was thin and toxic by most species standards. Owen breathed it normally. The air will damage your lungs, Moss said urgently. Earth's air is roughly 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, trace amounts of carbon dioxide, and other gases. This is close enough. Owen set his rifle against the wall. Stay here. If I signal, grab the wounded and run. You're insane, Flip hissed. Owen smiled. Probably, but I'm fast when I need to be. He walked into the chamber. Not running, not sneaking, just walking with calm, measured steps directly toward the nearest shrike. The creature noticed him immediately. Its head swiveled with disturbing speed. The clicking sound it made brought the other 4 shrikes to attention. Owen kept walking. His boots clicked against metal in steady rhythm. One step, another, another. The nearest shrike lowered its body into attack posture. Owen stopped 10 meters away and spoke. Not in coalition standard language. In human tongue, old and rhythmic, Moss and flip, it sounded like nonsense syllables. Low, steady, almost musical. But the tone carried meaning beyond words. Calm, certainty, the sound a confident predator makes when establishing territory. The shrike tilted its head. Confused, Owen took another step forward, still talking in that strange human language, still maintaining eye contact. His pupils expanded until his eyes looked black, reflecting light in a way they had not before. The second shrike lunged. Owen did not flinch, did not blink, did not stop speaking. The shrike stopped 1 meter from him, claws raised, teeth exposed. Owen's heart rate, if monitored, would have shown absolutely no change. Still calm, still steady, he turned his head slowly to face the attacking shrike directly. Smiled wider, showed all his teeth. In predator language, that meant challenge. The shrike backed up 2 steps. Owen walked forward, directly into the center of all 5 shrikes. They circled him, clicking and scraping. One tried to approach from behind. Without turning around, Owen sidestepped. The shrike crashed into the space where he had been standing a moment before. That Owen's body language shifted. Shoulders broader, stance lower, weight balanced on the balls of his feet. His breathing slowed until it was barely visible. Something changed in his eyes. The friendly human soldier disappeared. What stood there now was something else. Something that made the shrike's threat assessment instinct scream warnings they could not understand. That he was not prey. He was not competition. He was something their evolution had not prepared them for. A pursuit predator from a world that made their planet look safe. The lead shrike made a grinding metal sound and retreated 3 steps. The others followed its lead. They circled wider now, uncertain. Owen spoke again in human language. Softer now, almost gentle, but the message was clear in every gesture, every movement. This territory belonged to him now. Leave or find out what an Earth predator does to threats. The shrikes retreated into the darkness of the deep tunnels. Their clicking faded to silence. Owen waited 30 seconds to ensure they were gone, then turned to the pin squad. His smile returned to normal proportions. His eyes lost that reflective quality. His posture relaxed. Medical assistance incoming, he said cheerfully. Let's get you all to safety. Moss and Flip rushed in with the extraction team that Brell had sent as backup. They loaded the wounded onto stretchers while Owen helped stabilize their injuries with calm efficiency. The rescued soldiers stared at him with expressions mixing gratitude and terror. One tried to thank him but could not form words. Owen just smiled and said, "You're welcome. Try to rest now." The extraction took 20 minutes. Every soldier made it back alive. In Medical Bay, they received treatment while Owen filed his mission report with Brell. "What did you say to them?" Brell asked. "To the shrikes." Owen thought for a moment. "I told them a story about a predator from a distant world. A predator that never stops, never tires, never gives up. A predator that is kind to its pack and merciless to threats against them." He paused. I don't think they understood the words, but they understood the meaning. Brell pulled up the helmet footage from the wounded soldiers. Every camera had captured the confrontation. Already, the footage was spreading through the entire coalition force. By evening, every soldier on Redstone 9 had seen it. Owen walking among apex predators like he belonged there. Owen making them retreat through presence alone. Pix found him in the mess hall, eating dinner and chatting with Moss about nothing important. "Everyone is afraid of you now," Pix said bluntly. Owen's smile faded slightly. "I know. I'm sorry about that." "Why are you sorry?" "You saved 5 lives." "Because I never wanted anyone to be scared of me." Owen pushed his food around his plate. "I wanted to help. I wanted to be part of something good. But now everyone sees me as what I am." Moss placed a heavy hand on Owen's shoulder. "You're what you choose to be. Today you chose to save people. That is what matters." Owen looked up, smile returning slightly. "Thank you, Moss." But across the mess hall, soldiers whispered and avoided looking directly at him. The human who smiled while walking among monsters. The human whose eyes reflected light like a predator's. The human from the quarantined Deathworld. Coalition Command convened an emergency meeting via quantum communication. Owen was ordered to attend. He stood at attention in the command center while holographic projections of admirals and counselors materialized around him. Admiral Kron, a Valder with scales that shifted colors with emotion, spoke first. Private Hayes, we have reviewed the incident footage. Your actions saved 5 lives, but also raised significant concerns about operational security. I understand, sir. Owen's smile remained in place. Do you? A counselor with multiple eye stalks leaned forward. You displayed abilities not listed in your service file. You communicated with hostile creatures in an unknown manner. You resisted atmospheric toxicity that should have incapacitated you. Explain. Owen glanced at Brell, who nodded permission to speak freely. I'm human, ma'am. Humans evolved on a planet with environmental extremes that most species would find lethal. Our biology adapted to survive there. What you saw was just normal human capability. Normal. Admiral Kron's scales flushed red. Private, your medical scans show baseline stress hormones at levels that would cause cardiac arrest in 70% of known species. Your psychological profile indicates complete absence of fear response. Your ability to influence predator behavior suggests cognitive capabilities we do not understand. Permission to interrupt? Admiral. A new hologram appeared. An older human woman in civilian clothes. I'm Dr. Rivers, Earth Diplomatic Liaison. I can provide context. The council chamber fell silent. Earth representatives rarely participated in coalition affairs. Dr. Rivers pulled up a galactic map. Earth appeared highlighted in red with quarantine warnings. Earth achieved spaceflight capability 40 years ago. We applied for coalition membership and were denied pending biological assessment. That assessment is still ongoing because coalition scientists cannot accept what they found. She changed the display to show Earth's surface. Storms, volcanoes, predators, diseases. Earth is classified Deathworld Category 4 because it actively tries to kill everything living on it. Hurricanes with 300-kilometer-per-hour winds. Earthquakes that reshape continents. Temperature ranges from -80 to +70 Celsius. Predators at every level of the food chain. Diseases that evolve faster than medicine can counter. We know this, Admiral Kron said impatiently. What does it have to do with Hayes? Everything, Admiral. Humans did not just survive Earth. We thrived. We became the apex predator on a planet full of apex predators. We did this not through strength or speed, but through 3 traits: endurance, adaptability, and cooperation. She pulled up Owen's biological data. Private Hayes represents average human capability. His stress hormones are high because humans evolved to operate under constant threat. His fear response is suppressed because panic means death on Earth. His ability to influence other predators comes from understanding threat assessment at an instinctive level. A counselor spoke up nervously. Are you saying all humans are like this? Yes. Dr. Rivers met the counselor's eyes. Every human is a persistence predator capable of functioning in environments that would kill most species. We are also capable of extreme empathy, cooperation, and self-sacrifice. Private Hayes volunteered for frontier defense, not despite being dangerous, but because his nature makes him ideal for protecting others. Brell cleared his throat. Dr. Rivers, is Private Hayes dangerous to coalition personnel? Dr. Rivers looked at Owen, who stood perfectly still, smile frozen on his face. Commander, every soldier is dangerous. That's their purpose. But humans are dangerous and choose compassion. We could have conquered Earth through violence. Instead, we built civilization. Owen chose to use his capabilities to save lives. Judge him by his choices, not his biology. The council argued for 20 minutes. Finally, Admiral Kron spoke. Commander Brell, as field commander, the decision falls to you. Does Private Hayes remain in service or face discharge? Brell looked at Owen. Private, Do you have anything to say? Owen's smile finally wavered. His voice was quiet when he spoke. Sirs, ma'ams, I understand your concern. I know what scares you. It scares me too sometimes. He paused. Earth is peaceful now. No wars between humans for 30 years. No major predators left to hunt. I grew up in a world that was safe and comfortable, and I hated it because I was designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore. He looked directly at the counselors. I joined the coalition because I needed purpose. I needed to protect something. The smile isn't hiding a monster. It's hiding someone desperate not to be one. When I saved those soldiers, I felt useful for the first time in my life. Please don't take that away from me. Silence filled the command center. Pix's voice came from the doorway. Respectfully, sirs, Private Hayes saved my life twice. I don't care what his biology is. I care what he chooses to do. Moss stepped forward as well. Judging beings by biology instead of actions is prejudice. Hayes chose to save people. That is who he is. Flip joined them. He volunteered for the most dangerous assignments to keep the rest of us safer. That shows character. One by one, members of Unit 7 stepped forward in support. Admiral Cron's scales shifted to blue, indicating thoughtfulness. Commander Brell, your decision? Brell stood and faced the council. Private Hayes remains in service under new protocols. He will undergo regular psychological monitoring. He will only access enhanced capabilities under direct orders from command. He will be assigned as a specialist for high-risk operations where his unique abilities can save lives. Owen's smile returned, genuine and warm. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. Dismissed, Private. Owen saluted and left. In the corridor, his unit surrounded him. You called me scary, Owen said to Pix. You're still afraid of me? Pix ruffled her feathers. Terrified. But you're our terrifying friend. That makes a difference. Moss rumbled agreement. Pack protects Pack, even when Pack is frightening. Owen felt something in his chest loosen. The smile he wore now was not a mask or a shield. It was real. Thank you, he said quietly. All of you. That night, Coalition Command launched the final assault on the Shrike nesting area. Owen led the specialist team. When they entered the deep tunnels, the Shrikes recognized him. They did not attack. They retreated, allowing Coalition forces to establish containment barriers. Later, xenobiologists would study the Shrikes and discover they were protecting eggs. The Coalition relocated the entire species to an uninhabited world. No Shrikes were killed. Owen spent 3 days helping with the relocation, speaking to the creatures in his strange human way, keeping them calm during transport. When it was over, he returned to base exhausted but satisfied. Brell found him in the mess hall, finally eating without everyone staring. You did well, Hayes. Thank you, sir. I accessed your full personnel file. The reason for enlisting. Do you know what you wrote? Owen nodded. Brell read it aloud anyway. Earth is peaceful now. No wars, no predators, nothing to hunt. I needed purpose. I needed to protect something. The smile isn't hiding a monster, Commander. It's hiding someone desperate not to be one. Owen looked up. Did I succeed, sir? Brell's 4 arms crossed in what might have been a salute or a gesture of respect. Private, you proved that what you are matters less than what you choose to be. Yes, you succeeded. 3 months after the Shrike incident, Redstone 9 returned to normal mining operations. Unit 7 received commendations and medals in a ceremony that Owen tried to skip, but Brell made mandatory. You saved lives, Hayes, Brell said, pinning the medal to Owen's uniform. Accept the recognition with grace. Owen smiled and accepted. The other soldiers no longer avoided him, though some still watched him with cautious respect. That was fine. He understood. The real change came in smaller moments. Pix started eating breakfast with him, chattering about her family back home. She still got nervous when he smiled too wide, but she stayed anyway. Moss taught him a Grundon meditation technique that Owen found surprisingly helpful for managing his baseline stress levels. Flip asked him to help train new recruits in threat assessment. You see things others miss, Flip explained. We need that perspective. Owen agreed and found he enjoyed teaching. Helping others survive felt right in a way nothing else had. Coalition Command established a new unit designation, Specialist Response Team. Owen was assigned as primary specialist with authority to operate independently during high-risk scenarios. Brell remained his commanding officer, which Owen appreciated. They had developed trust through experience. The psychological monitoring sessions happened weekly. A mindrel counselor named Patch worked with Owen to understand human cognitive patterns. "Do you still feel different from your unit?" Patch asked during their fourth session. Owen considered the question. "Yes, but different doesn't mean alone anymore. They accept me even knowing what I am. That's more than I expected." "What did you expect?" "Fear, rejection, being sent back to Earth." Owen smiled slightly. "Instead, I got friends." Patch made notes. "Your integration has exceeded projections. You maintain emotional stability while accessing enhanced physical capabilities. This suggests humans can function successfully in coalition military structure. Does that mean Earth might get full membership? Eventually, your service helps demonstrate human reliability." Patch looked up from her notes. "You're representing your entire species, Owen. How does that feel?" "Heavy," Owen admitted, "but good. If I can show the humans choose compassion over violence, maybe others will trust us." News from Earth arrived regularly now. More humans were applying for coalition service. Some were accepted, others denied, based on psychological evaluation. Coalition recruiters learned to identify humans who could control their nature versus those who sought outlets for aggression. Owen received messages from Earth recruits asking advice. He replied to each one personally. "Be yourself," he wrote to a young woman named Patricia. "But remember that being yourself means choosing who you want to be, not just accepting what evolution made you. We're predators, but we're also dreamers, builders, and protectors. Choose which parts to feed." 6 months after Redstone, 9, Unit 7 deployed to a colony experiencing equipment failures. No combat, just maintenance and logistics. Owen found he enjoyed the peaceful work as much as the dangerous missions. While helping repair environmental processors, Pix asked him a question she had been holding for months. "Do you ever miss being scary?" Owen paused his welding. "What do you mean?" "When you confronted the shrikes, you were terrifying. Powerful. Do you miss accessing that part of yourself?" Owen thought carefully. "Sometimes. It's like having a tool you're really good with, but rarely need. But I don't miss the isolation it caused. I'd rather be helpful and have friends than be scary and alone." Pix ruffled her feathers, and what Owen had learned was her version of smile. "Good answer." That evening, Moss organized a card game in the common area. Owen taught them a human game called poker. Brell joined unexpectedly, pulling up a chair with his 4 arms ready to hold cards. "I wish to learn human recreation," Brell announced. Owen dealt cards while explaining rules. Moss proved terrible at bluffing. Pix counted cards compulsively. Flip tried to cheat and got caught immediately. Brell won 3 hands in a row through pure statistical analysis. "This game is highly dependent on probability calculation," Brell observed. "It's also dependent on reading people," Owen countered. "Watch faces, not just cards." They played for 2 hours. No money, just points tracked on a tablet. Laughter filled the common area as Pix accused Moss of having a tell. Flip protested his innocence about marked cards, and Brell calculated odds aloud. Owen lost more hands than he won, but did not care. This was what he had joined for. Not the combat or the danger, but this. Belonging somewhere. Having people who knew what he was and chose his company anyway. Later, walking back to quarters, Brell fell in a step beside him. "You're happy here," Brell said. It was not a question. "Yes, sir. Very happy. Earth has formally applied for coalition membership again. They cited your service record as evidence of human reliability and integration capability." Owen stopped walking. "Really? Really? The vote is in 6 months. Your continued service will influence that vote significantly." Brell's 4 arms crossed. "No pressure, but you're representing billions of humans." Owen laughed. Genuine, surprised laughter. "No pressure at all, sir. Can you handle it?" Owen thought about the past 6 months. The fear he had faced from others. The acceptance he had earned. The purpose he had found. The friends he had made. "Yes, sir. I can handle it." They reached the quarters. Brell paused at his door. Hayes, I misjudged you initially. I saw a human from a quarantined Deathworld and assumed danger. I apologize for that prejudice. Owen's smile was warm and real. You learned better, sir. That's what matters. Indeed, Brell entered his quarters, then paused. Good night, Owen. Good night, Commander. Owen entered his own room and sat on his bunk. Through the window, stars spread across the void. Somewhere out there was Earth, peaceful and safe. Somewhere out there were billions of humans wondering if they had a place in the galaxy. But he pulled out his tablet and began writing another message to the human recruits waiting for acceptance. The galaxy is afraid of us, he wrote. Not because we're monsters, but because they don't understand that strength and compassion can exist together. Show them. Be helpful. Be kind. Be worthy of their trust. We're predators, yes, but we choose to be protectors instead. That choice is what makes us human. He sent the message and lay back, smile finally fading in a peaceful rest. Outside, Pix and Moss sat in the common area, still playing cards. Think Owen knows how much he changed things? Pix asked. Moss dealt another hand. Probably not. Humans are remarkably bad at recognizing their own significance. Should we tell him? No. Let him discover it naturally. He's earned the right to just be a good soldier and a good friend without carrying the weight of history. Pix agreed. They played cards in comfortable silence while Owen slept peacefully nearby, a human from a death world. A predator who chose protection. A monster who chose to smile. And most importantly, a friend who earned trust one choice at a time.